Hey guys, it's me Brian from Echo1USA, and this is Echo1 Platinum M4. It comes in a hard plastic case. Let me go ahead and do an unboxing video, show you what's all inside, and then take apart the gun and show you how to take it apart and what's cool on the inside. Let's get started. It's a super sturdy hard plastic case. You know, it's not going to go anywhere. Much better than the other ones that come in a cardboard box. So, open, bam. You have nice foam on the inside. You will find a mid cap, and then also a front sling loop, a regular 300 round high cap, the warranty card, and the rifle. Since this is a Platinum edition, there is no battery charger because you're basically upgrading from, say, like your Echo1 Stag series. You already have a battery and charger, and now it's time to go with this bad boy. Okay, let's go over some of the quick basic stuff on the outside. You have basically full aluminum construction. It's very sturdy, it's not going to go anywhere. Plastic parts are going to be the handguard, the pistol grip, which is very thin compared to like the other rifles, and also the crane stock, which is adjustable. Battery goes in the crane stock, buffer tube, or the side saddle, depending on what kind of battery you're using. Okay, say if you're going to adjust the hop up, pull back the charging handle like so. Notice the door opens, the fake bolt goes back, and you can adjust with your little winding wheel right here. It's super stiff, easy to use. It's one piece also, and if you want to close it, hit the bolt release, bam. Very simple, very easy, it's very nice. Also, if you're using like this for law enforcement training, you can, just because that application of the mimicking the reload, and then also with the realistic Delta ring and also the fake gas tube, you can put on aftermarket real steel handguards if needed, with slight modification due to the gas tube going in the upper receiver. Other than that, on the back side, you have a steel sling loop. So say if you're going to run a 1-point sling, you can shoot, drop it. It's not going to get broken or anything. It might hurt yourself because it's rigid metal construction. And transition to your pistol, and you're good to go. You have a rear cutaway sight, so say if you want to run an optic like so, you can actually have it co-witnessed, and it's pretty cool. And don't worry about on the front sight in the way, you're looking through iron sights with the red dot there as well. Other than that, it's your M4 but on steroids. It's full aluminum construction, reinforced gearbox, which I'll show you right now, and other than that, it's good to go. Let's get started. Okay, let's go ahead and take this apart. One of the tools you might need for other upgrades would be an AR wrench for castle nut and the Delta nut. Let's go ahead and take off the stock, pull down, slide off, wire and no fuse. Okay, let's take off the upper. Just gently tap, pull the pin out. Notice it's captured, it's not going to go anywhere. Slide, maybe pull on the charge handle if needed. There's no bump, but sometimes it might get a little stuck. And tap, put it back. Here is the hop-up unit and the easy to adjust wheel. It's super stiff. It's not really going to adjust or turn off during the game, so that's awesome. Slide that back in there. Okay, let's get started. Okay, once you take off the screw and the little washer, it'll fall out like so. Don't lose that. Buffer tube will come off. Your sling plate. And now let's get to the motor. Just going to be using a 2mm key. You notice there's no motor plate. It's just a end cap. And it's cool, it's a larger adjustment screw, so it's not going to really loosen over time or shooting. Motor is kind of stuck in there. Gently pop it out. Cool. Motor is a decent torque. It's not a super torque, and it's not like a standard motor. You can feel it when you turn it. So this can give you like the 20 or so BBs a second when you're using a LiPo, and overall snappy performance. Okay. Go ahead and tap out bolt release. And you're probably saying, well, how do I get it out? Because you have this little the catch right here. All you have to do is you look in the mag well, and you're going to see how there's a bar that goes across. Just press down a little, wiggle out. Very simple, very easy. And now for the mag release, there's no screw here. It's one large screw, kind of like a real one. You press in, pull, and twist. Like that, and so. And it's spring loaded, so be careful it doesn't shoot out. I just use a little tool like that. And up and out. Cool. And go ahead and tap out the middle body pin. Up, there's a little screw on that, or a little tap it that way. Little ribs on one side, and then this pin. This pin has a little C-clip on there to hold it so it doesn't fall out, but you might have to take it out depending on if the gearbox is somewhat stuck. So what I'm going to do is switch to semi mode and wiggle it, and it wiggles. You have to make sure that's not in the way. And if it's like brand new and stuck like this, you can just gently tap and make sure when you tap you don't hit wires. Okay, cool, and it comes out. Okay, go ahead and put that pin back in so it doesn't rattle around and get damaged. If you look at the selector, you'll notice how it's super sturdy. You have this little extra brass plate that helps it so it doesn't flex or anything. And say if you're going to remove this, you will need a small Phillips screwdriver to go in there. With this little cap, basically use a pair of pliers or some angle tool and just gently tap outward, so then you can get a tool to go in there and you're good. Put that aside. Now let's look at the gearbox. Okay, here is the bolt release set for the gearbox and the upper. It basically went like that. So all you do is you press down, slide out. Okay, you have 8mm steel solid bushings. They're solid. They're very durable. They're not going to erode or break. Okay, you have the reinforced shell. It's sturdy up front. It's very thick. You have the little warranty sticker. This one's already been opened, don't worry. You have a steel selector plate with no electrical attributes on the front, so it's basically all on the inside, kind of like our Troys and everything. And you have an M4 type cylinder and a bearing spring guide. Let me go ahead and open it and continue. You will have, like for the Platinum Series, a small flathead screw that goes into the spring guide to ensure that the spring guide does not flex. If you don't have that in any M4, you will have a little flex like that. You need that. Usually the screw for the buffer tube goes in there. But that's a whole nother story. Okay. Little screw and lift up and it comes off. A little C-clip will hold this wire on. You can just leave it like that and you're good. Let's go ahead and reverse or release the spring. You have a little latch here. Okay, cool. It's already released. You can double check by looking. Cool, piston's all the way forward. I'm going to go ahead and use large Phillips. Okay. Up and out. Oh no. Okay, let's look. You have a metal bearing spring guide, which is great. It has a spacer, so it gives a little more FPS. It's much better than like a standard spring guide. You know, this is standard in most of the guns, so that's cool. Then you have a M120 type spring. Gives you about 400 FPS. That's good. Okay. Tappet plate. It's a clear plastic. It's very flexible, very sturdy, not going to break on you. Okay, let's look at the compression set. You know, this is very good. I would say it's perfect, but you know, that's kind of biased, but I'm going to say it's pretty damn good. You know, it's a stock piston head. You know, you can always make it better if you want, but out of the box, it's pretty good. And the reason why is you have the larger ports on the aluminum piston head that gives it more airflow to expand. Also, you have the spacers on the back of the piston head. And then on the inside, you're probably saying, well, the nozzle. Yes, the nozzle is plastic, but it has an O-ring on the inside, so basically it's an upgraded nozzle. The cylinder head is made out of plastic. It has a single O-ring and a little nice rubber bumper. It's pretty cushy, so it kind of makes the gun a little quiet. So other than that, I would say this is a 9.5 out of 10, but for a stock gun, this is pretty good. Okay, the piston. The older models were a clear polycarb. This is the newer version. This is the light blue. It's the new version. It's more reinforced. It's a better material, so that's a plus. So this can handle like the LiPos, shooting like the 20 or so BBs a second. Okay, let's look at the gears. Oh, they are shimmed, but let me line it up. Okay, cool thing about the gears, you have a larger sector clip or delayer. This allows you to feed much better and flawlessly when you're using a LiPo. And they spin around and you're saying, well, I've heard that they have the self-shimming gears. Self-shimming gears, basically like this, it's always pressing the gears down, and the shims make it so they're not rubbing. You know, they are shimmed so they don't bounce up from the springs, if that makes any sense. And if they were, if it wasn't working correctly, you'd have like no grease. But as you see, there's a nice thin layer of grease on there, so they're not rubbing. They're just right. And you have a steel reversal latch, which is pretty thick. It's reinforced. Nice bevel gear. Only a couple stops and good amount of teeth right here. It's not all the way, so you have to do more fine-tune adjusting, but when you do, it's just right. And also, the trigger contact is a little higher quality than our standard Troy and XCR series. And since there's only the contact section up here and not on the selector plate, it's less hassles later on when you're upgrading or repairing. Gearbox shell is pretty beefy, and you have the option to use all kinds of gears. You don't have the reinforced material, so that means you can use 13-1s and all kinds. On a side note, like if you're using any other sector gears, you don't have to worry about sanding this because it's already removed. But other than that, that is the Echo 1 Platinum Series Gearbox. You can find this in the M4 in black or tan, and also the M16 series. Also, make sure you check out your local store for the ones with like the Knight handguards or the Strike handguards, and also the Magpul or the Daniel Defense ones. Those are located at your local store. So if you like this gearbox, if you want a gun already tricked out with the rail, go ahead and check them out. This has been Brian from Echo1USA. Thanks for watching.